In this WrestleTalk news, Cody Rhodes involved in a WWE Backstage fight, a major AEW botch, and Ollie's review of last night's Dynamite. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
While the wrestling news has had no shortage of reports of backstage heat or tension and even altercations as of late, I think some fights were even started over dogs. These have mostly come from the AEW side of our current wrestling war. But what if I told you that even in the promised land of WWE there were also backstage confrontations? It would seem that one Cody Rhodes has carried across some of the bad habits that his former employer has. Rhodes returned to WWE around this time last year and immediately went into a feud with Seth Rollins that lasted a handful of months, leading to their excellent Hell in a Cell conclusion where Cody Rhodes had a very sore tit. But there were also nearly some bruised egos, according to the man himself, who told Dan Le Batard that he nearly got into a fight with Rollins when he asked if there had been similar backstage drama in WWE as there has been in AEW. He said, "I think Seth Rollins is the closest I've ever had to backstage that nearly turned into a fist fight in front of our peers and upper management. It didn't happen. Him and I absolutely cannot stand one another. I'd probably try and rip his eyes out." So they didn't get into a backstage fight, but Cody revealed that in his original run with the company, he did fight someone else. "I've had one backstage scum. I'm not gonna name the guy. The good thing is, I won. When I came back, this was early in my career, he was wearing one of my vests. He was wearing it and kind of mocking me at the talent viewing position. So I thought, why don't I just grapple him? I've got a good folk-style Greco background. I got over under and swept him to the floor. Then I took my jacket and I looked like a complete jerk in front of everybody because he was probably just having a good time and it was probably funny. Only one backstage fight. And I won that fight." Sounds like Rollins got off lucky if you ask me. Oliver Davis will be reviewing AEW Dynamite shortly, but there is a little bit of news coming out of the show, and it's also sort of a backstage fight deal. There was a backstage segment on the show involving Hangman Adam Page and Don Callis that resulted in an attack from the Blackpool Combat Club. Callis offered his hand, but got punched out by Moxley. And like doing a podcast with his wife, it's now made the news. The commentary team noted that Callis was getting medical attention, which was part of the storyline so he wouldn't be ringside for the Jeff Cobb match, but there was also some truth to it. According to PW Insider, following Moxley's attack, Callis legitimately hit his head, leading to him unintentionally bleed as a result. Brian Alvarez on Twitter elaborated to say Don Callis was essentially kept overnight at the hospital and received a bunch of stitches for what has been described as a gash that looked like he got hit with a hatchet. But what else happened on the show? Here's Ollie Davis to tell you.
Hey!
AEW time!
Yeah,
it's my favourite day of the week.
Great, hi. Just wanted to say, I hope you have a great Dynamite review.
Always do.
Yeah. Sorry, you got something in your hand. Do you mind if I just...
Oh, sorry.
Get it. All right, great, thank you!
Oh! He just took one of my hairs. One of my very expensive hairs. He's going to get a hair transplant. He's investigating my luscious locks to get his own hair transplant. Can't blame him. I look great. Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall. Hey, Colt Cabana, how you doing? Now it's time for my review of AEW Dynamite. In about 5 minutes. Weirdly, for once, an episode of Dynamite didn't begin with Orange Cassidy's entrance music. Instead, we got to sing whoa, whoa, oh, as Jungle Boy came out to face Matt Hardy in a fun opener. Ethan Page tried to interfere, accidentally punched Matt in the face, and got beaten up by Hook, all leading to JB's win. But really, this was all the latest chapter in AEW's world title storyline, because you got to mark off all 4 pillars on your AEW bingo card. Just waiting for that goddamn Jon Moxley bleed square to get a full row, as Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin were shown watching the match backstage, and MJF came out afterwards for all the local hometown heat. He called them anti-Semitic. Max explained the reason Jungle Boy isn't at his level is because he's got too many friends, which is also coincidentally why I'm not a world champion in any promotion either. I'm too popular. MJF reminded JB of his advice to him after wrestling at Double or Nothing 2020. Ditch your friends. Only focus on yourself and you'll go far. This fired up Jungle Boy to cut one of his best promos. Being a true blue-eyed babyface, saying that he's going to win the championship his way. Friends! And he's not going to end up hating the person in the mirror to do it, which is a neat callback to the Max vs. CM Punk feud. He did nothing wrong. MJF mentioned JB's girlfriend Anna Jay and implied erectile dysfunction, which was enough for a brawl, which Jungle Boy got the better of. He should have worked stiffer though. From opening bell to Max running away, this was the whole first 30 minutes of the show, which was great substantial pacing. The next half hour was fully devoted to AEW's other main storyline, the epic, sprawling, multi-faction whodunit of the Elite versus Blackpool Combat Club. First, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Healer Yuta robbed me of one of my favorite acts in wrestling, Dalton Castle and the boys getting to do all their trademark spots. The BCC jumped them during their entrance, Mox choked out Castle while Claudio powerbombed one of the boys through the center of the earth for the squash win. Then Carney piece of poo, Don Callis, fixed the potential plot hole from last week. He explained he just lost his balance and fell over when Hangman turned around. Kenny jumped to conclusions. Don wasn't trying to frame anyone, and you know what? He's going to apologize right now and sort this all out. Meanwhile, Hangman is in the middle of an interview when Don arrives, saying it's obviously the BCC who are behind the Bucks' attack. Callis went to apologize when the BCC attacked Paige. There it is. Don is the invisible hand job behind the whole scheme. It's all wrapped up. Just one more thing. Mox then decked Callis too, which Don got busted open hard way. Damn it, Mox! I'm so close to completing this row! Stop making other people bleed! Bleed yourself! Now, I wouldn't put it past Don to pay the BCC to punch him to take the heat off him, but I probably would put that past the Elite storytelling in that it's beneath them. But then we might have got our answer, because the biggest return of the episode happened. Until 15 minutes later, because Kenny, by God, Omega entered with his New Japan Bullet Club theme. His match was against New Japan's Jeff Cobb for New Japan's IWGP US Championship, so using his New Japan music makes sense. But it also perfectly aligns with this larger character arc of Dom manipulating Kenny back to his best bout machine singles act, ditching all the Elite friends he's diluted himself with. A very heel motivation. No friends. And one I'm 100% on board with, because this Kenny Omega from the last 2 weeks has been the missing ingredient from taking AEW from here to up there I can't even reach. Kenny had an awesome match against Jeff Cobb, totally different from last week's against Vikingo, which he won with the One-Winged Angel. And then that angle of the episode happened. The BCC surrounded the ring. Omega is all alone. The Bucks are recovering at home. Hangman and Don, not that Don could really do anything if he was there, have been taken out. So Bryan Danielson made his first appearance since losing to MJF at Revolution for the save. Until it wasn't a save. Danielson helped Omega up. I was screaming for him to turn heel just as passionately as I screamed at Dominic Mysterio to kick his dad in the balls at Clash at the Castle. And when Kenny's back was turned, Danielson started to power up, and he hit him with the knee. This was so incredibly awesome, and one that plays out totally consistently with Danielson's character. He never turned babyface for the MJF feud. He was just less of a prick than him. The Blackpool Combat Club are now fully united in a huge storyline against the Elite. All of the stars are literally aligning in the same place. It's like that bit at the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey before we to hyperspace. This is what we should have had last summer rather than a year of BCC fighting the JAS. Awesome, 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 wow, wow, wow. The second half of the show couldn't match the all-killer, no-filler layout of the first, but was still fun. 2.0 wined and dined the Acclaim to get them to join the JAS in a fun vignette. The Guns put over their titles versus careers match against FTR for next week. Orange Cassidy retained his whatever it's, the Shazampionship against Butcher. It looks like Dr. Robotnik if Zack Snyder directed a gritty reboot of Sonic the Hedgehog. While Blade interfered, commentary focused how Chucky T of the Best Friends hit Butcher with a crowbar for the finish. A rare bit of cheating, albeit arguably justified, for the champion. Perhaps these weekly title defenses are getting to him. And Ruby Soho got over Willow Nightingale in defeat, just like last week's Toni Storm defeat of Sky Blue. Willow looked awesome, but also kind of a bit dumb for not having her Rio and Sky Blue friends not out there from the start to negate the Outcast's interference. They only ran down for the save in the post-match beatdown, and then Jamie Hayter also made her return, running down to join them, doing the visual sell for her versus Riho next week, which should be terrific. And the main event saw Adam Cole return to the ring for the first time in almost a year against Daniel Garcia. And it was... I'm happy for him. I'm so really happy for him. He only hit 3 moves? Something felt off about this layout from the start. Typically, you have the babyface come out second. That's psychologically designed to make the audience pop louder for them. But Cole came out first, scuppering that anticipation immediately, and then Garcia hit a pile driver in the first minute, which led to Cole selling for the whole match until the end. On paper, I totally get it. Cole has kayfabe ring rust. You want to lean into the drama of him potentially getting a head injury again. He's a babyface. You want to tell a story of him overcoming adversity in the ring, just like he did in real life. The problem was, I don't know if that's what the fans wanted to see. I don't think it was what I wanted to see. Adam Cole promised a statement on his return match, yet that wasn't delivered. Felt a lot like Daniel Bryan's return match at WrestleMania all those years ago, where he just spent most of the time outside selling. He won and got confetti, and Britt Baker came down to kiss him, which was a really nice moment. The story of the match just didn't resonate with me. And then Jericho came out to help out Garcia, purposely avoiding looking at Cole. I'm not eager for a 6-month Jericho Vortex feud with him. The first hour was excellent TV though, so this week's Dynamite is 90%. The brand new episode of Quizzlemania is out now. Here's a clip.
Hello. Welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Quizzlemania 56, the showcase of, we're live, pal, the showcase of the Immortals, the greatest spectacle in all the sports infotainment. I am your host, Adam Blompier. As you can see, we are in person, and this is the first time we're doing it live, as you can see.